All right, hello first grade friends. It's Mrs. Davis here with our writing lesson for today. Hi! Today for writing, I want to remind you all of something that good writers do. Good writers help their readers to paint a picture in their head of what is happening in the story. One of the ways good writers do that is by using five senses details. Oh, I just read a story about the five senses with one of my reading groups today. So remember, these are our five senses. We have our sense of sight when we use our eyes to describe what we see. Our sense of smell when we describe what smells we smell using our nose. Our sense of hearing, the sounds that we hear with our ears. Our sense of taste, using our tongue to describe any of the tastes if you ate anything. And your sense of touch, describing the different textures that you feel in your story. So Miss Davis just made herself a little planning page here. I've also included one in the slideshow if you'd like to print one out. You don't have to though. This didn't take very long, just a quick little sketch of each of those symbols of our body part that we use for our five senses. So I'm just going to jot down. Remember, my story this week was all about going to the fair and riding a Ferris wheel at the fair. So I did my touch and tell with you all. So I'm just going to take myself back to that small moment of being at the fair with Mr. Davis and think about what were some of my five senses details that I might want to include in my writing. So first up is my sense of sight. Well, I saw the big white Ferris wheel. Remember, these are not complete sentences that I'm jotting down. These are just short statements to remind me. And on the big white Ferris wheel, there were lots of colorful lights. So just two little details about the things that I saw that I can go back and add to my writing when I'm ready to start writing my story. Next up, some smells. There was lots of smells at the fair. Thinking back in my mind. Oh, yes, I remember there was salty popcorn. I think Mr. Davis even had a bag of salty popcorn. Oh, remember it's buttery smelling too. I might need to add that. Salty, buttery popcorn. I'm gonna put my little mark to remind me. It was buttery smelling. All right, next up, sounds. Lots of sounds were around me at the fair. I heard people talking, laughing, and even some kids screaming. Not bad screams though. They were screaming because they were having fun on the rides they were going on. Next was a sense of taste. That kind of goes along with our sense of smell. Sometimes you might have the same detail for taste. I'm going to try and think of something else. There was something else I had at the fair. Oh, yes. I remember, friends. It was a sugary, sweet funnel cake. Yummy. They're covered in sugar. If you haven't ever had one, Miss Davis highly recommends. 2 thumbs up. A sugary sweet funnel cake. All right, and last is my sense of touch. So remember, in my story, I was getting into the car of the Ferris wheel. So I'm going to say I felt the cold, hard metal seat as I sat down in the car of the Ferris wheel. All right, my friends, so I just took today to think about my 5 senses, really putting myself back into my small moment of being at the fair and getting on the Ferris wheel, imagining all of those things that I saw, those smells that I smelled, those sounds that I heard, anything that I tasted, and what I touched and felt. So I'm going to take my 5 senses and use it as I go to write my story across my 1, 2, 3 pages. Miss Davis has already sketched out my story. After I did my touch and tell, I went ahead and sketch to make my sketches to help remind me. Now I'm ready to begin writing, so I can start writing out my story and using some of my 5 senses details to help make my story more interesting for my readers. All right, friends, I can't wait to see what you're working on, and Miss Davis will have more to share with you tomorrow. See you then. Bye.